Okay, so we are hitting chapter 4 in the beginning Excel book, which is all about charts. And what I'm going to do in this series of videos is keep them all really brief, um, so that you can just go to the videos that you need if you need to come back afterwards and review how to do particular types of charts. So the first thing we want to do is talk about sort of best practices for making charts. Um, because the thing is that there's a lot of really bad charts out there, and there's a lot of ways that data can be made to be misleading with inappropriate chart selection. Um, and there is also ways that data can just be just too muddy with inappropriate chart selection. And probably in class, I will show examples of some bad graphs. But that's not really within the context of this chapter. What I want to do here is just teach you how to make the things. Okay, so I've pulled down the data you can get here, downloading the data, chapter 4 data, and if you just click through here, it'll come right down for you. And then the first thing they have you do is highlight the range from B4 to C28. So that's B4 is here, go over to column C, go down to 28, and then we want to click on the Insert tab, okay, which is up here. Okay, and you'll notice that in this tab, there are some chart choices. What we want to do is select the line chart here. Now, these are all these menu items are now pictures, which I personally don't care for, but that's where we're living now. Everything's a picture. I do want to note that there is a difference between a regular line chart and spark lines. Spark lines are actually pretty cool, but they're little sort of charts that go inside of a cell, which we're not going to do right now. So we're just going to go right over here and grab a line chart. That brings up a menu. You grab this first one here. That's a 2D line chart. Select it, and there it is. So it already knows that you're using this data here, and it knows that the x-axis here is going to be sort of categorical data, and the y-axis is numeric data. And then what you'll notice, they bring you down here, and what you'll notice is that there's additional tabs up here in the ribbon, right? And those only show up when your chart is actually selected. You know that it's selected because it's got these little, squares around it, and the border around the chart is kind of transparent. If you click outside of the chart area into the spreadsheet, into the worksheet, like that, it deselects the chart, right? And that contextual menu goes away. If you click then in the chart itself, it reselects it, that contextual menu shows up, and also your data is highlighted, okay? All right, so the first thing that the book has you do is move this chart. You do that by just grabbing it when you see the sort of 4 compass points attached. You grab that, and they're saying to put it over by cell B30 here. You just move it so it's nicely arranged there, and then they want you to pull it over, widen it to the edge of cell I30, or column I. Okay. And then, let's see, what else do they have you do? We want to change the title so that it's titled with May 2014 through 2016 trends for NASDAQ. So what you do to that, you'll notice that when you hover your cursor around, it selects or it points out that you're on top of the chart title. If you click there, it will allow you to edit it and just change that title then. So there's that. One thing that they note within this chapter is that when you're using line charts, the x-axis is a descriptor, not numeric. Okay, it's what they call a category axis. Now, if you need to use a chart or create a chart that uses numbers on the bottom, on the x-axis, then you'll have to modify the chart so that the width of your columns reflects the values the value differences among the x-axis. The other thing is, okay, you'll notice that this x-axis goes all the way down to 0. This dash here on the bottom takes you all the way down to 0, which really is not relevant because none of our data goes below 500,000. So let's make the y-axis a little bit more relevant. Okay, and so how you do that is you click anywhere on the y-axis in here. So just grab one of those numbers, okay, and it highlights the whole vertical axis. And then right-click and select Format Axis. And that brings up a menu over here. Okay, and then what we want to do, right now our bounds for that axis, the minimum is 0. We want to set that minimum to 500,000. Okay, and one thing I want to note here, it says the maximum is 4 to the exponent 6. That means 4 million. This is just scientific notation for exponents. So an exponent means how many zeros are after the number 4. And if you look over here, sure enough, 4 million has 6 zeros. So that's what that's about. Okay, so we can go ahead and close this, this pane here, this window. That went away. Now our chart kind of got a little bit more pronounced, right? And what that means is that it's easier for people to see what's going on, right? When you reduce extraneous information, it becomes easier for people to see. Okay, so here's a little refresher on how to actually do those operations. And I'm going to stop this video, and then we're going to move on to creating a 2-axis line chart.